It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show. And yes, we are still trying to take the mystery out of your financial life. And to do so, we keep asking you to do the same thing. It's like Groundhog's Day. You can go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know if you are willing to come on the air and join us live. While we love getting your emails, I do think that having you on the air with us allows for a more robust conversation, for us to ask follow-up questions and try to get to the bottom of your financial issue. Sometimes it's not an issue. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it is an issue. Sometimes it's a bad thing. This is a show that is not passing judgment on why you are where you are. We just understand that's where we stand, you stand, and we're going to help you make the next best financial decision. That's how we roll here. Today, we are starting the program with Carol in Tennessee.
Good morning, Mark and Jill. We have some major decisions we're attempting to make at the moment. And we have been working for the last few summers up in this wonderful area in the Rocky Mountains. And we always are so reluctant to leave that we thought, you know what? What if we did this crazy thing and we sell our house and we sell most of our belongings and we just move up there for a couple of years. And after that, We'll figure out our life. But it's like, God, we're 63. It feels a little late to be experimenting like this.
Is it though? I don't know.
You only live once.
Yeah, you're catching me and Mark at a time where we're really into like take advantage of whatever it is you want to do. So, okay, so you've got a spouse, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're both 63.
Yes.
So you live in Tennessee, and are you working there, or are you retired?
We are both retired. Well, he's retired from a job where he makes a pension. It's COLA adjusted, thank goodness. Every time Social Security gets a raise, so does his pension. He works as a handyman, part-time, very part-time, and I work as a very part-time bookkeeper.
Okay. What is his pension amount?
Going forward, after this latest raise, it's about $74,000 a year.
Holy smokes! And you're not yet collecting Social Security, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
We're going to wait a bit.
Okay, great. How much do you guys earn in your part-time income?
This past year, we earned about $10,000 together. So
Okay.
it's not
Perfect.
huge. But
That's great. No, it's all right. You're doing something.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the stuff you've accumulated. So we can start with your house because you said, let's sell the house. So what do you think the house is worth?
Well, we've talked to a real estate agent, and depending on what's happening in the early spring, who knows? But she said we could probably ask around, say, $450 to $475.
All right. So let's just pretend it's $450. Okay. Do you have a mortgage that's outstanding?
No, we paid for it with cash.
Oh my God, fantastic. What about money that is safe money, like just money in the bank or a money market, something that you could reach into if you had to spend some money?
We have about $140,000 in a savings account that earns right now about 3% a year, and we have about $40,000 in I-bonds.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. Okay. Now, in addition to your husband's pension, do you or he have any money set aside in retirement accounts, whether that's an IRA or a 401k, anything like that floating around?
Yes, we have about $350,000 in a traditional IRA.
Mm-hmm.
And his Roth has about 175. My Roth has about 50. And that's about what we have there. And then we have a fixed indexed annuity that we were sold.
I noticed that no one ever buys it. Oh, you know what I want? I want to buy a fixed indexed annuity, right? Okay, but let's see. How much is in that annuity?
Well, I've been taking out 10% withdrawals lately. So there's about $98,000 left in that one. And then we have a variable annuity that's about, right now, I just checked the actual account value, and it's at $263. But the income amount, that's about 323.
So if you were, so for everyone listening, there can be a lot of weird things about annuities. And I think what you're saying is that if you were to annuitize that contract, you would be annuitizing on this 323,000 number. But if you were to just take money out of this variable annuity, the cash out amount would be 263. Is that right?
Yes, and that would be before the $10,000 surrender fee.
Okay,
yes.
So it's still in surrender period.
Yes.
Okay, what about the other one, the fixed index one? Is that still in a surrender period?
Yes, until early 2024.
Oh, so it's almost done.
Yes, thank goodness.
Oh, that's great. In these two annuities, are these annuities that were popped into an account that was a retirement account? In other words, does it say IRA or qualified, or are they non-qualified annuities?
They're both non-qualified.
Okay, now let's talk about how much money you guys actually spend. So you've got some beautiful income right now, the $74,000, and you will get Social Security, both of you, right?
Yes. Well, I have a very small amount on my own. And then when my husband starts taking it at age 70, we hope we can wait that long.
Yep.
Then I'll get spousal annuity.
What's his amount at age 70?
I think it's around 3,400.
3,400? Okay. How do you guys do living on your 74 grand a year? How is that?
Oh, so far it's pretty good. We spend about 60,000 a year before taxes.
What would change? Let's say we waved the magic wand and you guys moved up into the Rocky Mountains and you spend time there. So it's not like you're going there blind, right? You'd be like, we know it, we like it, right? You've already done that part of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what would it cost you to rent there for a year or two, or to even buy? Have you looked? I don't know.
I have looked at rentals just because one of the managers up there was looking at rentals. So I know that that's really tight. We would just stay they have dormitory housing for people who go up there in our situation. Okay. So it's not the best. It's like,
I want you to don't go beyond the dormitory. I feel like I need to intervene right now. And their intervention is, now, if you really wanted to rent, what would it cost you to rent?
This guy was looking at staying in a big fancy RV for $1,000 a month.
That's it?
I'm sure there's other I haven't looked very seriously at it because I
want you to look.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now. So you're not tethered to Tennessee in that you have no family there. There's nothing that's holding you there, right?
Nothing at all. No.
All right.
A few good friends, thank goodness.
All right. Well, we can come back and visit good friends, but there's no reason to hang on to this house if that's the case. I'm going to just tell you right now, you're in great shape. You can do whatever you want. Now, that may be actually more daunting than me telling you couldn't do this, but you can totally do this. And here's why. You have saved an enormous amount of money. You really have. And, I think the game plan would be, as, we look ahead, you're taking the 10% out of the fixed index annuity right now. Are you taking the 10% out of the variable annuity as well or not?
No, that whole thing seems daunting to me. I haven't done anything with it at all.
We'll get back to Carol's question in just a moment. If you want to pack up and move far, far away, let's see if you can do it. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Mark will do the rest. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. We do that by encouraging you to ask your questions. You go onto our website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and Mark does everything else. Now, if you have a complicated situation or you're seeking more financial advice than a radio show, we encourage you to check out our sponsor. It's Facet Wealth. Facet Wealth really understands that everything your money touches is really essential to your well-being. They believe that your financial advice should be delivered by unbiased fiduciaries, certified financial planners who have to put your best interests first. So if you're thinking about a new financial advisor for 2023, check out Facet Wealth. Visit cbsaudio.com/Jill for 2 months free off your first year of financial planning. Okay, right now, let's get back to Carol from Tennessee. So we know that your fixed index annuity, you have until early 2024. But the surrender period on the bigger one, the variable annuity, do you know when that is up?
That ends, if I remember right, it's late next year. We got that one first.
Oh, so these are both going to be done.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. The thing is, though, of course, we do not want to take all of the money out at once because that tax liability would be huge for you, right? So here's a couple of ideas. So number one is we could essentially take some of the money out of the, again, the variable annuity. You said it's up late next year. You can leave it alone until next year, and then we can kind of figure out what to do with it next. Do not roll it into another annuity. Do not do that, okay? But there may be some reason, and I'm not 100% sure if this is the best way to do it, but I think it might be a cool thing for you guys to annuitize these things, get your monthly check, and that will take you right to your age 70. And it'll probably be more money than you need, but we got to get that money out of there because it is taxable income. And we do want to get the money out before you start claiming Social Security. So it might be that we just draw on those and use that to live on. Yes, you will be subject to your required minimum distributions on your traditional IRA, but where's that invested, that traditional IRA?
Oh, it's in Vanguard index, some index funds, really simple portfolio.
Okay, perfect. I think that that's kind of the game plan, that we'd want to annuitize these things and get them out of the environment of an annuity. This is going to be really go back into your Wayback Machine. Do you remember how much money you put into the annuities when you first started this project?
Oh, yes. The variable annuity we put in $250. I think we're about $13,000 above now.
Okay. Here's the good news. You can take all this money out. When this surrender period is up, you can just take it all out, and your tax liability is actually only going to be the difference between what you put in and what it's worth at the time. And I don't even think you need to annuitize it. What about the fixed index annuity?
That was rolled in from another fixed indexed annuity, but we put in, I think we've taken out all of the income on it now, the actual amount, because we've been taking it out. So the 1099 that we get from them has it divided out.
Okay. Here's the kind of the interesting thing. It's not as big a problem as I thought it was going to be, because usually what I'm worried about is that when you have an annuity that's a non-qualified annuity, you end up putting money in, and then a capital gain becomes converted into ordinary income. So like if you put money into a Vanguard fund, let's say you put, $90,000 into a Vanguard fund and it's worth $98,000. When you sell that, that's a $8,000 capital gain. When you put $90,000 into an annuity and then it's worth $98,000, that $8,000 of increase is actually ordinary income. So that's the bigger issue when you have a non-qualified annuity, all right? And it's not a terrible thing because you don't have that much gain embedded into these contracts. So as a result, you are in great shape. You should do this if you want to do it. And you should do it and not do it as like a dormitory thing. You should research it. You should live in a place that you like. Are you laughing, Mark, or is Carol laughing?
I'm laughing.
Okay,
too.
That's Mark laughing because I hear the word dormitory. I didn't like a dormitory when I was living in a dormitory in college. I lasted exactly a year and a half doing that. So you have so much money. There's no problem here. But I do want to try to figure out what to do with these annuities so that they're not kicking around and you're paying fees. So it seems to me that you're doing the 10% a year on the fixed annuity. But the other annuity, what you should do is you should call both of these companies and you should say, if I were, just ask them as of today, if I were to just get out of these, what would my tax liability be? We should know that. They'll be able to tell you, by the way. So we would want to know that before we just blew out of them. But, ostensibly, I think you're going to end up having 203. So you're either going to have somewhere between $350 and $400,000. Maybe you have 350 grand in these annuities, which is just in addition to all of your other stuff. And we don't want it to be in the annuity environment. You could simply have a brokerage account with that money in it. And that brokerage account would be, you'll have $350,000 in there. You'll be able to use that to bridge the gap between your today need and when you collect Social Security, because once you have Social Security on top of your pension, you're fine. So you would just use that to live on. It would be completely perfect, nothing to do. And you can use that to supplement yourselves. And I wouldn't really worry about the traditional IRA. You can wait till your minimum required distributions. It's fine. That'll be a small amount of money when the time comes. It's not going to be a big deal. Other than that, I think you are in unbelievable shape. I think you should sell your house. Oh, what'd you buy your house for? How much?
$276.
All right. So there's no tax liability and you're in great shape. So I'm ready to move to the Rocky Mountains with you.
So my biggest my other big concern really would be I'm kind of nervous about the idea of letting go of what we have, which
all
is
right. Then keep it and rent it. And then you'll see how you do for a couple of years.
Well, what do you think is going to happen with the housing market? How
do I know? What am I? I got a crystal ball about that. I mean, I think that it is going to be. So here's a problem. If you sell the house right now, someone who would buy that house, tell me the kind of person who would buy that house. Would it be like a family? Would it be, is it a fancy house in your area where someone would probably pay cash for? Like, you tell me the type of house it is.
It's a fairly small home for the area. A lot of people, so I imagine a couple like us or a very small family. It's a very good school district, but it is a smaller house than usual.
Well, I mean, if you want, hang on to the house. You don't need the money from the house because we're going to have the money from the annuities. Rent it for a year. See how it goes.
There's no mortgage. That would be another stream of income.
Yeah. It's just another, I think it's a big decision to just pull the trigger all at once also. So I would just rent it. It's perfect.
Do you guys have health care through your husband's pension?
We have health care through his company up until the time we hit Medicare age, which happens in another year and a half for me. Right. And then for him. So we have all those decisions to make. But yeah, so far we're covered for health care.
You're in great shape. Do you have your estate documents done?
We do. I hope they translate well to another place.
You know what you should do when you do move up there? And it doesn't have to be immediately. You should get a lawyer to review it because every state has different estate tax rules and laws. So you just have somebody, once you get up there, you figure it out. Okay. I want you to spend more money on housing. I'll tell you that much right now.
I think we'd probably enjoy that more.
If you're going to do it, let's do it. And you have the money to do it. You're not telling me I have to downsize to live a smaller life. You have so much opportunity here. You're in great shape. So I would go ahead, start doing your research. Let's get some information about the annuities. And I think that you should really be very proud of yourselves. You really should be. You did a great job. If you are trying to figure out how to make your dreams a reality, I'm not always the dream crusher. Sometimes I help you make your wishes come true. I really do. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and Mark will do everything else. Jill on Money, we will be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's Jill on Money, and we are ready to answer a couple of emails. Let's start with Lynn, who writes, I'm married. We're both in our late 50s. We have about $1.3 million in pre-tax funds and about $700,000 in Roth, brokerage, and I bonds. Investments are self-managed in Vanguard index funds. typical Jill on Money listeners. That's all I can say. Combined, we make about $250,000 a year. We plan to work another 5 to 7 years until I am 65 and spouse is 61. We own a home. We have no debt. We max out our yearly retirement contributions, and our yearly expenses are about $70,000. We will each have Social Security. We hope to begin claiming at age 70, and we'll do that for a combined total of about $5,500 a month. So they basically almost have everything covered. Almost. I mean, they'll have to, account for taxes. Okay. But here's the wrinkle. We have a disabled 18-year-old son for whom we hope to provide a healthy trust account. There's currently about $80,000 to start. Question is it better for our son to inherit a Roth account? Should we focus on paying taxes now to convert pre-tax to Roth and also use the Roth option for my solo 401k rather than funding a pre-tax account? Now, I presume you have an attorney in this, because if you have a trust, I'm guessing that it's a special needs trust. And if that's the case, I really think you should talk to the lawyer about this. The purpose of a special needs trust is to make sure that the trust account, that the person who is the beneficiary of that account doesn't have control over it, but also that trust wrapper allows the beneficiary, the disabled person, to still be able to get benefits from the government. So I don't know what the rule is around the inherited retirement account. If that then flows into the trust, I don't know. The interesting thing is, I would imagine that it's better for, let's say, all things being equal, it would be fine for your son to inherit the trust because he will be in a lower tax bracket unless the trust has to receive it and the trust is in a higher tax bracket than you would be. So I'm telling you right now, I don't know the answer to this. You should talk to the attorney, and that way we can get a real read on it. It's an interesting question, though. Very interesting. I'm glad you asked it. And it does bring up that idea around special needs trust, which must be done with someone who actually does those types of trusts. Okay, here we go. This is from Zach, who says he loves the show. Burned out at my job. Teacher year 7. Uh-oh. You're burned out after 7 years. It's going to be a long road. The pension. Okay, so the teacher year 7 pension vests at year 10. I'm in the public service loan forgiveness and waiting to hear if I qualify under the rules that expired on October 31st, and I should know by July. Okay. All right. The question is, what should I do with my pension money? Leave it? Maybe I'll go back, pull it, and maybe put it in an IRA. My wife and I have been filling out our tax returns separately for 7 years. I just learned about amending prior returns. If my wife qualifies for her public school loan forgiveness and he qualifies as well, they can amend their previous. Can we amend our previous returns? Yes, you can. Would it be financially in our interest? I don't know. Depends how you're amending it. It looks like the wife has a retirement account that's also like a 403B. How to save and spend money. I don't have longevity in my family. Every man on both sides of the family have died before 65. Yeah, that's bad. All right. So what is the real question here? I mean, first of all, to do the public loan forgiveness, you need 10 years in. So if you're a teacher year 7, you can't leave until you have 10. So are you presuming that as I am, Mark, that there's 3 more years to go?
There better be, yes.
Because you need 3 more years. And I'm not sure you need to complete your tax return separately. I think you might have to if it's public school loan forgiveness. So I guess I would really say that you need a real professional tax preparer or a CPA to help you out. And I really hope and pray that you're talking about staying on the job for 3 more years. And then in 3 years, you should probably, if you really think there's a possibility you would return back into the system, you'd leave the pension there and see how it goes. You can always go back. And if not, you can roll it over after. It seems pretty like a fairly cheap option. So I think that's what I would do. You guys look like you're in good shape. You're starting your lives off. But, it's funny. What you didn't mention he gave us that, they're like in their 30s and they make good money. The wife makes 170 grand. He makes 50 grand. They've got some money that's saved, but notice no mention of how much the outstanding student loan debt is. It's a better chance to get forgiven under the public service loan forgiveness rather than under Biden loan forgiveness because, the PSLF is not going to get wiped out. It's just the new rules around it might. But anyway, I'm hopeful he gets it. Suzanne loves the show. Okay, she's switching jobs. She's wondering, would it be better to roll over my 401k, which is mostly Roth, but the match is traditional, into my new company's 401k or to an existing Roth and IRA account that I've already established at Charles Schwab, where I invest now in low-cost exchange-traded funds. My new company's 401k also has low-cost ETFs. Are there any material differences between putting the money in one over the other? If I roll them directly over to a 401k, do I still have to sell them and then repurchase at the current price? Yes, that you do have to do. Either way you go. I don't think it matters. It's up to you. Since you have two funds already set up at Schwab, I don't know. I'd probably just do it there. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it matters either. The only thing that would sway my answer is if there's backdoor Roths in the future, but she doesn't mention that.
Yeah, gang, if you're going to do a backdoor Roth where you make a contribution into a non-deductible IRA plan and then immediately convert it to a Roth, you don't want there to be IRAs anywhere. So if that money is in a traditional 401k, it will not count against you in that weird pro rata rule for doing the backdoor Roth. So just keep that in mind. Okay, more emails around the corner. It's the Jill on Money Show. JillOnMoney.com is the website. Check it out. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and I keep telling you to go to the website, but I neglected to tell you all the fun things you can do on our website at JillOnMoney.com. You can sign up for our free weekly newsletter, and you can also pre-order my new book. It's called The Great Money Reset. And this is a book that was really inspired by everything that you all have been saying to us over the last dozen years or so. The Great Money Reset is available for pre-order. When you pre-order, not only will you learn how to change your work, change your wealth, and change your life, you can register for our first ever Jill on Money webinar. It's happening in February, which is pretty darn exciting. So the book drops in January. The webinar is in February. You, right now, can just go to the website and do both. JillOnMoney.com. That's the website. All right, let's do another email. This one is with Tina, who says, "Hi, Jill. I've been listening to your podcast, and I'm learning so much. Thank you for all that you do." Well, thanks for saying that. Okay, so here's the question. It's about factoring anticipated inheritance into retirement plans. With your callers, you never ask about inheritance. That's probably because I don't think most people get them, but that's right. You're right. I should ask about that. I usually say, is there any dependence or anything? I should turn that around and make sure I do ask about that. So I'm going to do that from now on, Tina. Thank you. All right. So here's the situation. Tina says, my parents are in their 80s. They've got a very clear plan for what my sisters and I will be inheriting: a business, a beach house, retirement savings. They are in assisted living, and that's all covered by their long-term care insurance. So, although the investments fluctuate, we can be pretty confident of the anticipated value of our inheritance. Why don't you ever ask about that? And should I not be taking this into consideration when thinking about retirement plans? Thank you again. No, you should totally keep this as a factor. I think it's silly to ignore it if there's something real. Generally, unless it's like a sizable amount of money, I don't like to factor it in because I always get nervous. well, maybe your parents have their long-term care taken care of, but what if they needed additional care? I don't know. I get very nervous. But obviously, if you're the beneficiary, say, of a trust, or you know there's going to be a piece of real estate, yeah, of course, you can factor that in. It's just that we don't know when they're going to leave that asset to you. So it gets tricky. But yeah, I mean, you could certainly do it, or you can maybe do something more conservative and say, you want to take a discounted amount for that. But anyway, yeah, you should factor it in. And I'm going to ask about it more. So thank you, Tina. Jenny writes that she's a new listener and she's enjoying the pod. She says, I need some help figuring out in what order I should be contributing to different types of retirement accounts. I just started a new job and they only offer a simple IRA with a 3% match. I want to prioritize Roth and post-tax dollars as much as possible. I've been contributing to a Roth IRA through the back door for the past couple of years. I think I'll need to stop if I have the simple IRA account. Is that true? Yes, it is, actually. So that is a big time drag. And I'm sorry about that for you. For some of you who don't necessarily realize this, that simple IRAs, they're usually at smaller firms, but that's the IRA that kind of screws you up for the pro rata rule. So, that's a bummer. Now, here's the question. She says, I was thinking of contributing to the simple IRA up to the 3% match and then contributing to a post-tax brokerage account. Do you have any other suggestions that would be advantageous come retirement? Thank you for everything you do. You help your listeners become financially secure. Well, I guess my message is really to your employer. And it's like, skip the simple. Can you just have a 401k? But that's not in your hands. I think contribute to the simple up to the match, then use a brokerage account, make your investing tax efficient. Sounds like you're in a fairly high tax bracket. It's really tricky because we know that so many people want to use a Roth version of the retirement planning toolkit, but if it's not available, it's not available. So yeah, I would go up to the match. I would then probably just put the money into a brokerage account. And again, try to be tax efficient. That would be helpful. All right. Sandy says, I am 62 and thinking about retirement soon. With the market conditions, would it be smart to take my Social Security early for the income I need so that I don't need to touch my retirement accounts right now while their balance is lower than it was a year ago? Oh, I need to know so much more about you. It really depends on how much money you have floating around. I hate taking Social Security early. I hate it because your benefit is permanently reduced, Sandy. And so if we can possibly avoid that, I really would rather you do that, even if it means taking some money out of your retirement accounts now. So I'd love for you to follow up. Tell me how much money is in those retirement accounts. And maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, but I always like to encourage people, wait till you're full retirement age. And that will help you keep that nice, robust Social Security payment intact. For everyone else listening, if you can even wait to age 70, you go even further. You get almost an 8% increase every single year. You wait till 70, of course, predicated on your specific situation. Okay, we'll be back with more of your questions. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we hope to help you make better financial decisions, or at least take the next best step that's indicated based on your situation. If you've got a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we will arrange to get you on the air. Jill on Money will be right back. You are back. It's Jill on Money. Before we finish up this hour, let's do another email. This one is from Paul, who writes, Hi, I have an account specifically to pay off my mortgage. I started saving years ago, and the amount now can pay off the house. But should he? That's my question. Okay, it is a 4% mortgage rate, and I owe about $30,000. Should I pay it off? I just reached that figure in the account. I guess I'm just having trouble pulling the trigger. Thanks. Well, you know what, Paul? I think that there's a couple of questions I would ask. I mean, obviously, with just $30,000 left, it's not like this mortgage is doing anything good for you. You probably don't even owe any more interest at this point, so there's nothing else deductible. And 4% is not a terribly horrible rate. It's not the worst in the world for sure. But I also wonder, do you have other safe money? Meaning, in addition to this account, do you have an emergency reserve fund? Do you have ample liquidity? Meaning, do you have enough money at this point in your life that you could float what you needed to float for a year, maybe 2 years? And if the answer is yes, and you just want to get rid of it, it's fine. But if you're hesitant, there's nothing bad about having a 4% note either. And I do want to stress that. Especially now with interest rates higher, you probably can get 3 or 4% if you build yourself a nice long CD ladder. But if you do want to pay it off and you have the liquidity, I think that's okay too. If you, like Paul, are wondering about paying down a mortgage and you have the ability to do so, I really want you to pay attention to all the other money that is available to you. And when I say liquidity, I usually mean an after-tax account. I mean, I know you've got money that's socked away in retirement, but if you pull it out, you'd have to pay a tax on that. And we would never want you to pull it out at the wrong time. So this is a very common question. Why don't you let us know if that's something on your mind and we can help you out? Go to JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and you can tell us your specifics. And again, the advice that we give is really geared towards whomever is asking that question and the circumstances of their lives. Got it? Good. Great. Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money show, and we are here trying to help you take the mystery out of your financial life. Of course, one way we do that is this radio show. We also have 2 other podcasts, and if you want to learn more about that, you can just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the podcast tab. While you're on the website, check out our blog. Something I usually write once, twice, sometimes even 3 times a week. We like to put topics that are timely, but there are also some interesting ones that are evergreen and some great interviews that we've conducted. You should also check out the resources section. We are trying to beef up the resources section for 2023, and we would really appreciate your help. Any resource that you have found that has helped you on your financial journey, let us know. Not another podcast, more like a tool or a calculator. I love that stuff. So, okay, let's get into it. Right now, we are going to talk to Caroline, who's on the line from Georgia. What can we do for you?
Well, I've been listening to your program for several years now, and I've learned so much. And I have a question about if my husband and I can retire in the next year or 2, and if we should take Social Security at 62.
Okay, I'm going to say yes and no. Let's go on. Move on. I'm just kidding. Tell us about what's going on, and we'll find out if you can retire. I bet I'm going to say don't take Social Security at 62. So how old are you, Carolyn?
I'm 58, and my husband is 61.
He's 61. You're both working full time?
Yes, we are both working full time.
How much do you guys each earn?
Well, my husband makes about 160 plus about 10 or 15,000 in bonuses each year. Mm-hmm. And I just took a huge pay cut when we relocated. I'm making 52.
Okay. And are you both contributing to retirement accounts?
Yes.
Maxing or putting in some amount? What are you doing?
We are maxing now, especially in this past year or 2, just trying to make up for a lot of lost time
Are either of you going to be entitled to a pension?
Yes, I will be entitled to a pension at age 62, and that's going to be about $1,600 to $1,800 a month for the rest of my life.
That's great. But no, not for the hubby.
No,
Okay.
he does have an annuity with TIA CREF from a previous employer, so he is entitled to that at age 67, and that's going to be about $84,000 a year for him.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
huge.
I know.
Look at me, I'm excited. So the game plan as you see it would be, can you retire as soon as possible, or is it at that age, is it a 62? Is it, what do you think?
Well, my husband would love to do it as soon as possible, and he'll be 62 next October. I'm willing to wait till 62 until I start getting my pension.
Okay.
But he's really ready for a change.
He's fried, basically. Tell us about what you've saved. Forget about that TIAA contract, because I'll just put it over here on the side. What have you saved so far?
Okay. In my retirement fund, I have about 36,000 in a Vanguard rollover IRA, and I also have TIA 403B with about 17,000 from a previous employer and about 4,000 in a Roth from my current employer now.
Husband.
My husband, he has 630,000 in a 403B with TIA, and he has about 65,000 in a 401k with his current employer.
So, but I just want to make sure I don't double count, because when you say 600,000 in the 403B, is that the same money at 67 that pays out $84,000 a year?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes. So
Okay.
I'm repeating myself. Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. And how about money in the bank?
We have 70,000 in an emergency cash and a high interest savings fund account. And I also have a brokerage.
How much?
It's about $499 now, $499,000 in a
Can I
brokerage
call it
account.
500,000, please? Can I round up by 1,000? I love how she, by the way, like Mark, completely burying the lead. Oh, and I also have, she's saying 7,000. I thought she was going to say 5,000 in a brokerage, and now it's 500 grand. So, wow, that's amazing. That is invested or mostly in funds. Like, how do you manage that?
It's about 72% are in equities, mostly ETFs and mutual funds. 13% it says fixed income, 11% alternative investments, and about 3% cash.
Okay. That's a lot of moolah. How about where you live? You own a home?
Yes. We
What's it worth?
just sold our house last spring and we moved to Savannah, Georgia. So we bought our house for $605, but now it's valued at about $675.
Did you buy it with a mortgage or no mortgage?
No, we paid cash. So we have no mortgage.
Holy crap. How much do you think you need when we're talking about like looking ahead, right? You make a lot of money now. You make $200,000 together, I know, and you're not living on 200, but do you have an idea of how much you actually need?
I mean, not having a mortgage makes our cost of living, really low. I mean, I see us spending between $4,000 and $5,000 a month.
Okay, let's say 5,000 a month. Let's talk a little bit about the Social Security stuff, because when we look ahead, if I were to do, you were talking about 62. So let's look at 62, and then do you have the numbers for what it would be at 62 and what it would be at your full retirement age?
Yes. At 62, my Social Security benefit would be $1,524. And at 70, it would be $3,132.
Guess which one I like better?
At 70.
What about, do you have that middle number, the full retirement age, which is 67?
Yes, that says 2409.
Okay. And what about for hubby? Similar?
Similar. At 62, his says 2115. At 67, 3189. And at 70, 4068.
Oh my God. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is you did talk about this money from TIAA CREF. So there's two ways to deal with a TIAA CREF, TIAA, I should say. You could annuitize it, or you could keep it and you could roll it over. There's some rules about how you roll it over, but It's a possibility that you don't necessarily take that, but let's just presume that you do. Let's say that you're getting your $1,600 a month at your age 62, right? He is 3 years, so he's 65, right? So can we have him work for like one more year? Like at the end of next year? Can he do one more year? Can he be the end of 62 or not?
I think he can, yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. I look at this in chunks. So if you guys, whatever you decide to do between you and him, that essentially that you're working for, another year or two, and, you have some money coming in, you don't spend a lot of money, but you have that brokerage account. So all we need to do is look at that brokerage account as the bridge. You're going to it's the bridge between when you retire and when you're able to collect that money at age 67. We'll get back to Caroline in just a moment. If you have a question about a transition in your life, we'd love to hear from you. Go to JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. We'll do the rest. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and this is the program that tries to help you make good financial decisions, better financial decisions. Just maybe every so often just tries to hold your hand and allow you the space to talk about what's going on in your financial life without any judgment, without any finger pointing or wagging, none of that stuff. And if you like the tone and the way that we conduct ourselves on this program, but you really need more significant help, maybe you're testing out a new financial advisor or you want another set of eyes on your situation, I encourage you to check out our sponsor, Facet Wealth. Now, Facet Wealth does something slightly different than other advisors. They offer their services for a fixed fee because they really do believe financial planning should be accessible to folks who either have a lot of money to invest or folks who just have a lot of issues. So it's really about your needs, regardless of what the bottom line on that statement says. Whatever your circumstances, Facet believes you should have access to reliable, personalized financial planning that advocates for you. So if you are interested in that kind of service, maybe you want to check them out. You can visit cbsaudio.com/Jill for 2 months free off your first year of financial planning at Facet Wealth. Okay, so now we're going to turn back to you. Before the break, we were talking to Caroline from Georgia, and she was trying to figure out about her husband and her retirement plan, what's the timing of it, and how they can really map it out. So let's get back to Caroline from Georgia. So at age 67, you would have, and again, I don't even think you have to wait till 70 for your Social Security. Both of you can claim at your full retirement age, and you're essentially going to cover most of your needs. Not totally, but all I need to do is get you from whenever you retire, or both of you semi-retire, whatever it is, from that point to your Social Security full retirement age of 67. If that's the case, you're going to have to spend down some of the brokerage account to make it work. Okay. That's the only thing that's going to be weird for you. You're not used to spending money. You're used to saving money. So if you were to do that, I think that it would be really helpful if you could try to get yourself between now and then, just to get in your mindset. Okay, part of that money that's in that brokerage account has to be safer. You can't be 70% equities because you're going to spend a bunch of the money. So some of that money has to go into cash. By the way, for both of you right now, I don't even know if you have to max out your retirement plans anymore. I would put up to the match in each of your plans, and everything else should just go into savings, because we just want you to we want to bulk up your savings. Okay. And then you're going to make sure that whatever you think you need, So let's just say you need $5,000 a month. All right. So you need $60,000 a year. Let's say you both retired next year. You need $60,000 for, until you could start claiming your $1,600 or $1,800 a month. And then you would reduce that amount by the amount of your pension. Then we get you to Social Security and you're done. But you got to have enough money to float you in between 60, 62, and 67. And you're going to have to spend some of the money in the brokerage account.
Well, I didn't tell you, but I do have sort of like fund brokerage accounts too that I didn't mention.
Okay. Well, what kind of fun are you having behind our backs?
I have a Robinhood account. Okay. So I have about 80,000 in Robinhood. Those are just individual stocks. And then I have about 55,000 in ETFs and Stash.
Do you have gains or losses in that Robinhood account?
I have gains. Yeah, 33% return.
Look at her. She's like, how dare you question me? I have gains.
How dare you, Schlesinger? How dare you?
Actually, the large brokerage account is the one that has some losses in it. But my Robinhood and Stash, I have gains.
Here's what I would do. Do you ever do anything called tax loss harvesting? Do you know what that is?
My financial person with my brokerage account did mention that to me this year.
Who's your financial person? I thought we were your financial people.
Well, I had one, but I wanted a second opinion because I just wasn't sure.
You don't even like your financial person. That's why you're calling us. I can tell.
Well, I don't like the 1%. I definitely don't like the fee.
I love this woman so much. So if you want to start managing it yourself, one thing you could do is immediately say, well, look, I'm going to manage it myself anyway. So let's start like cleaning this up and start putting some money away and making sure that I have the money available and combining everything. Just pick one place to hold a brokerage account. Maybe it's Vanguard. You have your rollovers at Vanguard, right?
Right.
So if you moved your brokerage account, the Robinhood and the ETFs, and you pushed everything into one account at Vanguard, and then you can start the process of maybe minimizing the number of accounts, sell your losers against your winners, clear out some cash, make that cash available so you have it, and start to restructure this a little bit so that you can make your big brokerage account, which is now, $630,000 or $40,000. You make that is the money that you're going to be drawing on to get you from now until age 67. And that's going to be an important process. Now, the broker, the financial advisor, what are the kind of investments that are inside that brokerage account?
She has large cap funds, a couple of mid cap funds, value funds. There are a lot of funds because I was worried about that, why there were so many. There are at least 20 different funds in there.
Oh, my God. Here's what I think you could do. You could roll everything into Vanguard, and instead of 1%, you could just start this process and use Vanguard Personal Service Advisor. It's like a $50,000 minimum, and you could actually get a person. In other words, you could work with somebody to help you rejigger this account and get to a more slimmed down version of a portfolio. And that might be very helpful for you because it sounds like there's just like a lot of stuff floating around.
Yeah.
And I think what I would want to do before I stopped working, I would really want you guys to have 2 years of whatever the expenses you need, whatever it is. Like if you're going to keep working and you're like, you know what, my 50, he's making 0, but all we need is like another 20 or 25 grand a year. Make sure that 25 grand a year is in cash. Okay. And then when you're retired, maybe you don't really need that much more because you're going to have your pension. And so maybe you say like, I really only need 30 or 40, whatever you think you need to make up the difference. That money should be in cash. Okay? Because we don't want you to be subject to the whims of the market. And that's it. And then you're good. You're good to go. Don't claim at 62. You don't need to claim at 62. You have so much money.
Thank you. I mean, when I watch the markets and it goes down, and I check every day, and it goes down, it makes me worry.
Stop doing that. You're going to make yourself crazy. Do not do that. Really. It's unnecessary. You have plenty of money. You've saved a boatload of money. You guys are in good shape.
That's reassuring.
Do you have your estate documents?
Yes, we do have a will.
You have some kids that are floating around?
Yeah, we have 2 adult kids, 23 and 27. They are doing well in their careers, but our term life insurance for them that we got when they were younger, that's coming, I guess it's expiring. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
In another
don't,
year?
why you don't need it.
We don't need it after that.
Are they married with kids yet?
No, they're partnered, but they're not,
Not
they're
married.
young
All right,
guys.
so that'll be their own problem. Don't worry.
Right.
No, you don't have to pay for that. Definitely not.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
Carolyn, any other questions for us?
No, that'll be all. Thank you so much.
You guys are in good shape. You did a really good job. You really did. All right. If you've got a retirement question, if you've got a transition going on in your life, if you've got an education question, even if you are just starting out, we'd love to help you out because that's what Mark and I really built this show to do. If you would like to join us, all you need to do is go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. And if you check the box, Mark does everything else.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, maybe help you weigh some different offers you have. Maybe a career change is on the horizon in 2023. Maybe you're worried that 2023 is going to be a scary year. Maybe you're worried that there's going to be a recession or a major slowdown. If that's the case, I also would encourage you to not only get in touch with us so that we can beef up your financial life, but you probably ought to be checking out my new book that's called The Great Money Reset. And this was a book that was written with you guys in mind. And the subtitle is Change Your Work, Change Your Wealth, Change Your Life. And I think this is the time that we are starting to hear more and more from people that they're a little nervous, that they are concerned that the economy is going to snuff out their plans and things are not going to be good. Well, you know what? Maybe they're better than you think. So why don't you go ahead, pre-order the book, The Great Money Reset, and when you pre-order that book, you will be entitled to join us at our first ever Jill on Money webinar. It's going to be held in February. Just go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, go to the pre-order section. You'll see all the information. It's right there. Right now, we are going to talk to Denise, who's on the line from Pennsylvania. Hello, Denise. Are you a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're feeling good? How do you feel?
I am. Well,
Yeah?
they're crushing it, so it's great.
Denise, we're going to find out later. It's one of those people who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan who was arrested in the original stadium where they had a precinct. And we're going to find out that it's like Silver Linings Playbook, that she's wearing her. Are you wearing a uniform right now? Are you wearing a jersey? Tell us the truth.
No, I'm not.
All right, just checking. What brings you to us?
Well, I want to move closer to my family in a few years when I plan on retiring. And I want to make sure I have enough cash, kind of questioning whether I should cut back on what I'm contributing into my 401k to build more cash.
Okay. How old are you, Denise?
59.
And you're working right now?
Yes.
How much do you earn?
148 plus
Perfect.
bonus.
Plus, what's the bonus usually?
It's about 25.
Do you have a partner? Are you single? Are you married? What's up?
Single with an adult child who lives at home.
Okay. Will that continue?
Seems like it will.
I like that. Where do you live now? You live in a home that you guys own? That you own? I say you, not because your adult son does not own that with you, it sounds like.
In his dreams.
Yeah, exactly. How much is the house worth?
About $330,000.
And so in making a move, you would sell this house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a mortgage outstanding?
There is not, but if I move, I would estimate that I would it would be about 50 to 80,000 more.
Let's say 100,000. So you'd need to spend let's say that you need like a new house. I'm just going to say 450 just to have a little extra money. Okay. Got it. So tell us how much money you have saved to make this big move. So what's going on in your financial life in terms of your savings and investing?
So I have in emergency about 75,000, I-bonds 21,000, checking 15. So that's regular cash. And then I have retirement. Do you want me to go through those?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I have 9,000 in a Roth IRA. And then in my 401k, I have 14,000 in a Roth there and 620,000 in the traditional. And then I also have an ESOP with my company that's valued at 1.1 million right now.
Whoa. Yowza. Okay. That's amazing. Do you have any other non-retirement savings, like a brokerage account or anything like that?
I do not. I just opened a brokerage, but I have not funded anything yet as I'm figuring out what to do.
So what's going to happen here is you're thinking like the move, will you still be working? Will you be able to move and work remotely? Like what's the game plan? What's the ideal game plan that you would lay out?
I would like to move probably maybe a year before I retire. It would be a longer commute. So, and I do work half remote and half there. So I want to move close to when I retire, but I thought I'd still be employed when I do it.
And so what's the ideal timing of this?
In the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Within 2 to 3 years.
And I do also have
sorry,
pension.
go on.
Maybe that was what you were going to say.
Yes, I was going to say, will you be entitled to a pension? Tell us more about that.
And that's $31.53 a month that I'm entitled to that at age 62, obviously, if I retired.
Will that pension still allow you to claim Social Security?
Yes.
So if we looked at your full retirement age, it's probably 67. What's the amount?
$33.41.
Okay. So how much are you spending right now?
About $5,000 a month.
So you're golden, girl. I love it. This is like a no-brainer. So let's just pretend that it's a year from now. Okay. So you're 60. And are we going to give your firm the notice? Like you like them? What's the nature of your relationship? Okay.
I've been there forever. So
okay.
Yeah.
And what about healthcare? Like when you retire, if at age 62, if you were to get that pension, what happens for healthcare until we get to Medicare? Do you have healthcare or do we have to buy it?
I have to buy it.
So the $5,000 a month is actually really more like $6,000 a month because we're going to need to have. Okay. So that's your need. And that's your net need. So, okay. So what happens to the ESOP? Like you retire and you're like, okay, thanks,
I have
bye.
to sell it.
Okay. What's the tax liability on that?
I would roll it. It gets rolled to an IRA.
Okay. So that's
just like the 401k.
Perfect. Then. Okay. So there's $1.7 million in traditional money. What are you contributing right now in terms of the retirement accounts?
The full 27 in the 401k.
Pre-tax, or are you using the Roth right now?
I have mixed it up, and then this year was a bigger year, so I cut back to traditional again.
No, you don't want to pay taxes.
Well, I know I'll be paying them.
We'll get back to Denise in just a moment. If you need some assistance making a financial decision, if you want to know whether you're on track, if you're just starting out, we don't care. What we do care about is hearing from you. Go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and send us your note. Okay, we'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the show that tries to take the mystery out of your financial life. I am Jill Schlesinger. I'm a CBS News business analyst. I'm a certified financial planner. Mark Talercio is the executive producer. He's also a certified financial planner. And that means that we like to hear your whole story. We want to hear everything that's going on. And then we'll try to develop a holistic game plan. You know, I know it's not a full-blown financial plan. I get that. But maybe we can just set you off on a better track than you were on, or maybe just give you a little confidence to make the decision that you probably know you need to make or should make. So whatever it is that's going on in your financial life, you can get in touch with us by going to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we will be sure to get you on the air. And when I say we, I mean Mark will be. Okay, right now we are going back to Denise from Pennsylvania, who was wondering about her preparation for her retirement. So we need you to build up your non-retirement assets. Would you have a match up to some point?
Yeah, I need to put in 6 to get a 3% match.
All right, so put in your 6%. And I'll even let you do it pre-tax. Go crazy. I don't really care because you're going to get hammered with that anyway, but we'll deal with that in a second. Put in your 6% in your traditional. Enjoy that. And then everything else goes into that brokerage account, or even frankly, savings is fine. Like a high yield savings is fine. We need to save up money to make this move because I don't know where mortgage rates are going to be in a year or 2 years when you say you want to buy something in your next move, right? So I think we need to save up that $100,000. And so that's what you need to do. How much money are you saving beyond your retirement contribution of $27,000?
I'm saving at least $2,000. It's actually a little more, but $2,000 that's not
beautiful. So you got
designated.
$50,000 a year that we can save, basically. All right. Now you got it. I need that $100,000 saved before you give your notice. You're done. And then you're going to move. And then when you buy that new house, look, if we're lucky and mortgage rates have dropped significantly, maybe you get a mortgage. And if all of a sudden you found like the most unbelievable place and it came up in a year and you're like, I don't actually have all of the money I need, I don't really care. You can get a small variable rate mortgage and then as soon as you have that money paid off.
Okay. Yeah, because I prefer not to have a mortgage.
I know you. I know. I can already tell you, Denise. Denise, I got you. I got you. Now we have to talk about a little bit about what happens. So at 62, you have a pension. And we need to start pulling money out of your pre-tax retirement accounts. And that's what you're going to use to live on. You're going to dribble it out. And you're going to try to maximize pulling out as much as you can to live on. Like when you need $6,000 a month, if you're getting $3,000 from your pension or $3,100 from your pension, we're going to need to probably pull let's say $4,000 a month from your retirement account. That's fine. You have it. You're going to have to be okay. You're going to pay the tax that's due and you're going to use that. And then you're going to use that until you get to Social Security. And then by the time you get to Social Security, we'll see where you stand. We'll see whether you want to keep doing that until age 70 to maximize your Social Security or not. You've got plenty of money to make this move. Plenty of money.
Thinking on Social Security, I was thinking 65 just because I don't have a spouse to worry about.
What do you mean 65? That's a random number. You mean either 62 or 67. 62 is when you could do it. 67 is your full retirement age.
Yeah. And I was not going to do it right at 62, my Social Security, but just to preserve more of my money to leave to my son.
Oh, come on. He's fine. He's going to inherit a ton of money.
Which I think he knows.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why he isn't leaving anytime soon. Where's this poor guy? He's probably a good guy. He's probably a good man.
He works.
Is he going to move with you?
If he's still here, then yeah.
He's going.
He's going. Sounds like a good move for him. I don't know about you, but it's good for him. How about this? Let's check back in on this. Maybe we'll see how you're doing. You might feel much better if all of a sudden markets have recovered and you feel like, oh, I don't have 1.7 million. I actually have 2.1 million. You know what I mean? Like, let's see where you stand. When you move to this new place, you're done working forever and ever? Or do you think you might work a little bit? What if they say to you, oh my God, we love you so much. You can be fully remote 3 days a week.
Probably not, just because I'm eligible for my pension at 62 now. But depending on what's happening in the economy and what house I do buy, I might stay longer, but maybe a year or two max.
I don't know. I feel like you can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Great.
Let's do it. Do you have all of your estate documents?
I do.
Okay. What else are we missing? Do you have like some crazy old insurance policy that you haven't told us about?
Nope. I only have life insurance through my company, canceled
Fabulous.
once my son was old enough because I feel he'll inherit enough.
You know, it's so funny, Mark, we got that question. I got a question from one of you guys listening about like, why don't I ever ask about inheritance? Because somebody obviously was getting an inheritance. Why don't I take that into account? I usually think people will tell us that. I don't ask about that enough, and I'm going to more because it is true. Some people are going to inherit a lot of money, like Denise's son living large off of Denise's sweat and toiling for all these years. Lo, these many years. Denise, what else can we do for you?
I think that answers everything I have.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear where you're moving. We're going to do it off the air, though. Okay, if you have a financial question, it's time to get on it. JillOnMoney.com is the website. The little button is the Contact Us button. Pre-order the book, sign up for the free weekly newsletter, do it all. Just go to JillOnMoney.com. All right, we will be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. Before we head out for the day, let's do one more email. All right? Good. This is from Stacy, who says, I am struggling with whether to pay off our mortgage or invest for retirement. Here are the facts. I'm married with a combined income of about $200,000. We currently owe $143,000 on our mortgage, and the interest rate is 3%. That's pretty cheap. Okay, they've got $450,000 in retirement. It's between IRAs and Roth IRAs. And Stacy says, I max out my IRA and my Roth, my husband just the Roth. I so badly want to get rid of the monthly mortgage payment. Everyone keeps telling me not to. I'm confused as to what to do. The reason why everyone is telling you not to, Stacy, is because you absolutely should be putting money into retirement account, much more important than your mortgage. And just think this through for a second. Yes, you will be relieved to have the debt retired. I get it. But importantly, when you have the money in the account, you have so much more flexibility. And right now, it is much more important that you build up the liquidity and the access to that money, much more so than paying down that debt. And I really encourage you to get in touch with us and come on the program, and I can walk you through the ins and outs. But everyone listening, sometimes paying off that debt robs you of future options, because if you need access to the money or liquidity, it's no longer available to you once you pay down the debt. So keep putting that money away in retirement. Do the best you can, and let us know if we can help you out and help you work through this issue. All you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Well, that's it. That is the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. We always encourage you to lift someone up, because it's going to make that person feel good. It's going to make you feel good. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next week.